Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you to David and the lead for inviting me for this Q presentation. So it's the first time I ever do a presentation for any system, because typically I rather fight with the providers. So it tells a lot that how much I like the cube. Quickly about Mercuria, because we are a fairly new company, so I just want to set the scene. We are one of the top 5 largest energy traders. So we trade oil, refined product, power, gas, coal, emission. That's basically our offices. The headquarters in Geneva. The main trading hubs are in Singapore, and in the US we have the two largest offices in Chicago and in Houston. We started in 2004. I'm myself, I think, the 12th employee, so we started with a very small team. Today we're about 900. You can see that we grew a lot, and I think the 4 main points of Mercuria basically was our growth. We diversified ourselves a lot. We spend a lot of effort and money in having state-of-the-art control and risk management process and systems, and we, as such, invest quite a bit in our infrastructure and systems. So yeah, some numbers of oil, trading volume, and power and gas is not. We have an analyst in-house, and he likes to make great graphs, so I just basically copy it from him. Anyway, why I'm here is basically to describe how we took this cube and why we were obliged to take some action. Because when we started in 2004, we were small, and then we grew pretty fast. And year after year, I started to see data all over the place. I mean, the credit guys had their own spreadsheet, even some of my team, middle officer, had their own spreadsheet. It was all over the place. So we needed to have, and even worse actually, we started to diversify in power and gas, and the actual ETRM system couldn't cope with power and gas, so we had to take another ETRM system. And then I didn't have consolidated view of position report, credit as well, VAR, and so forth. So we said, well, we need to remove our dependence on spreadsheet. We need to have much faster market analyzed data. We need to be able to have a credit rating on counterparty. It was just after the bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers. And we need to be able to easily slice and dice data. So our target user were our analyst, our credit analyst, the credit risk manager, middle office, so my team, all the senior management. I mean, I remember my boss or CEO of the company asking me, give me the global exposure on the company in one sheet. Forget it, I could not. So he kept asking, and I said, well, it's impossible. And for the back office, sending the margin call. So what did we look at? We looked at buying, the big 5 or 6 ETRM system. We even thought of maybe we should build it ourselves. So I remember going to India and going to Bangalore and see the Infosys people, but it was not also then we dropped it. We looked also at having SAP, business intelligence, business object tool, but we also dropped that. And then actually, by pure luck, we dropped one time, David and Lee were in the Geneva office because they knew one of our colleagues, and we just met them. So it was completely luck meeting. And we looked at what they did. We did a proof of concept in 2 weeks, I believe. And it was very impressive. So from that point, we became their first client, and we started in 2009. And so far, it has been almost a perfect love romantic story, I could say. So why did we take the cube? Indeed, because the proof of concept delivery was done, and then within 2 months or 2.5 months, our analyst who analyze the metal, the coal, all the dry freight. I mean, they have like millions of data from these GTSI tables. They see all the ports, how many coal, how many steel goes in each port on the planet, the shipping movements, all the tariffs. I mean, it's this amount of data gigantic, and they could not. They came from Cargill, and they of course had a huge system with everything was pink and nice, and we had nothing. And within 8 weeks, maybe 10 weeks, by putting the cube on top of this huge database, they could slice and dice the data. And the speed. I mean, I remember our IT guy was extremely, how can I put it, negative on the idea of the cube. They said it will never work, it's new technology, we don't know. So we also did a proof of concept, I think, with Microsoft. And the speed was, absolutely fantastic. And today the IT guys also acknowledge this fact. For me, which is not the best guy in systems, personally, what I like was the flexibility. I mean, Lee make you a demonstration. You go into Excel, you call your cube, it's in Excel, and you can drag and drop. It's, I mean, my daughter of 9 years old could do it almost herself. And last but not least, it's, I'm not sure I can put that in a diplomatic way, but the cost. I mean, I don't want to tell that it's cheap, but compare with other large ETRM system, yes, it's a fraction of what it will cost you. If you buy SAP Business Object, it will never, it's probably a factor 10. And that obviously counts as well. Yeah, that I already explained. So for us, it was 5 areas: the trade flow, financial analysis, credit, market risk, and some historical data. That's a cube landscape at Mercuria today. We have a lot of shipping data, a lot of reference data, all the rating agreement, all the market risk data, the trading platform and trade validation, and all the company financials are now pulled in the cube. If I look at the first group of users of the cube, which are the coal and dry freight commodity analysts, they had all this mass of data. They put them on top of the cube, and they can easily slice and dice. They show me all my tariffs, show me all my coal import, show me my metal import, show me the ships who flip from metal to coal, and so forth. And they can do graphic, they can make all the analysis which they send on a daily basis or a weekly basis. Like you have at Goldman Sachs, for example, they send this nice analysis. We do that in-house. And it's all based on cube data. And it's just one typical graph they have. I don't even know what really represents. It's just an example I asked them to do. It's all nicely graphed. It's really very visually. When they send us, guys like me, when the analysts send me some analysis they do on the coal imports or coal export from Indonesia, it looks nice and fancy. Why? Because it's Excel. I mean, Excel is the graphic in Excel or PowerPoints, it talks to us, it's very clear. Credit analyst, that was actually probably the biggest mess we had, because we had two systems. Because we grew so fast, the last things you worry about is your credit. You first want to know, enter my trade, confirm the trade, be able to know what your risk is, and make money, get banking lines. Credit is a thing you always kind of fall behind, if I may say. So in 2009, we had nothing. And now in 2011, 6 months after mid-2010, we had a good system. We had good, I mean, some of you know our credit manager. They came from Glencore, from big company. They know, all tell me, we have a good credit system, and finally we can monitor and send also all our credit exposure. So we have now, in the cube, the counterparty exposure limits. We can do comparison. We can do the workforce exposure. We enter all the financial in the cube. So all the onboarding process, when there's a new customer, is also done from the cube. Or internal credit rating of counterparty is also done in the cube. And that's just a screenshot of one of the financial analysis of the cube. So the credit guys, they enter from the private company we trade with, the Glencore of this world, they're not private anymore, but let's say the Vitol. We have their annual report. So we have the history in the cube. So we can make our own credit rating of all these trading houses we trade with. Credit managers, for them, the big issue was that everything was split in different areas, so it was important to consolidate everything in one place. So reference data, netting agreement, the CSA, the LC, all the collaterals, all the EFET agreement, everything is now entered in the cube. And because it's so fast, as I think the Nomura people explain, and also Lee in his report, very often we have the trading floor, we have the traders say, hey, De Groot, the credit guy, can I trade with this guy? And before he would say, well, let me just remember yesterday I had kind of this, I'm not really sure. He said, yeah, actually, yeah, it's Glencore, it's okay. Or it's Vitol, it's okay. He didn't really know for sure. Today, he goes in his cube, he says, Glencore, and because it's refreshed every, I don't remember, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, 5 minutes, let's say. He has a live view, of course, assuming the interface has entered the trade with Glencore in the ETRM system, but he has all the trade lists. And then he can clearly see, hey, guess what? Glencore is open credit until X million, but because of these 2 new trades done 10 minutes ago, now for this one, you need an LC. So the fast response is really nice. And we have now the cube deployed in all our main office. So we have the credit guys in Singapore are using it. Chicago, Houston, the small Calgary office we have as well, and obviously Geneva, where I'm from. And the big thing also for us is to have one truth, if I may say, because before you had, within the credit team, they had their own Excel sheet in Asia, in the Chicago office, within Geneva themselves, was a team of 3, they had their own stuff. So at least now everybody looks at the same place, and we have mistakes, of course. We have, like the number says, sometimes the trade is wrongly entered, or we have issues as well, but at least we all see the same problem. That's some screenshot of the exposure report. So yeah, the lead exposure report, we see the top 10 or the top 15 exposure we have. This other one is the forward exposure, so how, as time decay, all the swaps are pricing, or I mean the swaps, excuse me, are being invoiced, or the physical being invoiced, or how the whole risk exposure decay going forward. The third target area is basically myself and my team, which are all the mid-office and market risk. It was very difficult for me and very slow from the ETRM system to get a global view of the whole Mercuria company risk. Basically, I could not. The system we have was a very good system for each book. You see the position grid, you can see your P&L almost live. But when I was trying to double-click on the group position, it will never open. I mean, I will wait 2 hours and then poof, it will crash. Today, I have this cube it's an Excel sheet. I just call my cube. It takes me, I think, 30 seconds. And I can slice and dice. I mean, I'm finally a happy guy. I think we went live with that, was it 3 months, 4 months ago? Yeah, 4 months. About 4 months. And the other issue we had with the TRM system for the middle officer was, or the risk team, is that it was quite difficult. If you have books, I mean, we trade on average, I think, 800 to 900 new swaps, OTC, not cleared, a day. Clear swaps is probably double. Futures, I don't even count them. So there's quite a bit of volume going through. So, and all these trades are getting entered in this portfolio, in these books. So if there is a mistake, it's very time consuming to look at your P&L mistake in the ETRM system for the middle officer. They open it, they say, oh yeah, that's all my P&L is up 10 million. It's impossible. It should be 1. So they go portfolio by portfolio and they say, oh yeah, this one is wrong. And it's always the same one. It's a swaps portfolio when there is a ton, I mean, hundreds, if not thousands of swaps. So they open it, it's in PDF, great. So then they print it, it's 100 pages, and they go one by one. That's how it used to be. Today they can go in the cube and they will for them, they win a ton of time. So it's also potentially a cost efficiency because I hopefully can have less middle officer. And the less people you have, how can I put it? It helps. Also, in terms of, in our case, for example, when Lehman Brothers got bust, I knew immediately the loss we had to take. But I didn't know how to replace, how was my trade exposure? Why was I long and short? So I had the list of trades, but I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning, I finished at 1 o'clock at night the next day to get all this list of trades and reconstruct the position in Excel because the trade capture system we had was not allowing me to do exposure per counterparty. Today I can do that, it's on the fly. I pivot it show me only my trade with BP, on my grid show me only my inventories. Inventory is another problem. It was very difficult for us. We have 40 million barrels of storage capacity all over the place, all over the world. In some of them fancy places, smaller places. So it was complicated for me to have one place where I can see all my inventory. Now I can. Where is the hedge against that? Where's the portfolio? I can really slice and dice my data in a very flexible way. We also can have a very, call it on-the-fly, dirty P&L to get kind of rough estimate what the P&L will do without secondary cost, of course, without freight accrual and stuff like that, but purely market P&L. And we trying to do, which is not live yet, the position limits. We have in-house internal position limits in terms of volume. Each book can only be long, 1 million barrels. You can only have this amount of time spread. So we try to integrate these limits in the cube. Today that's done manually in Excel by each middle officer. That's an example of the position grid I would get. So it's a screenshot, but behind it's Excel pivot table. We're actually building also a GUI now with the cube as well, so it will stop being in Excel. But it's super fast. It's much faster than the two ETRM system we have looking at the grid in these systems. and you can easily slice and dice the data. For example, we have a team of 10 to 15 traders, and trader number X, he wants to see first the WTI, then the Brent, then the paper. The next guy next to him, he wants to see it the other way. So we used to have all these middle officers making one spreadsheet for this guy, one spreadsheet for this guy, one spreadsheet. And I will keep having this continuous fight with them, saying, you middle officers are not your slaves. They should be the one controlling you. Today, they have the cube, they do it themselves. They just save their layout, and when they open it, they trader number X, see Brent, NTI, and the other one will see the opposite way. It's the same data. You cannot go and change the numbers here. That's the position comes from the ETRM system. That's what it is. It's impossible to go and change it yourself. So, but they can slice and dice the data as they see fit. For us, it was a very big step forward. Back office, all the collateral management. Again, because now we enter all this ESA agreement, all the collaterals and all the LCs, we can automate our margin call sending from the cube. I mean, my goal was always, we have hired the co-head of risk, who just left. He don't want to hear me speaking, I guess, but he's there, okay. So, I mean, Goldman Sachs is the first one who sent margin call. And my goal was always to be faster than them. We were not bad. I mean, compared with the other market participants, we were a lot of time ahead of them. But with the cube credit collateral management, we are quite close now. Around 10 o'clock in the morning, we start to send our margin call to the counterparty. So 2 hours after Goldman Sachs, which is not bad. We still have 2 hours to win, but we're going to try. All the collateral management is something we build with the cube. So they enter all, as I already explained, all the CME, the FET agreement, so we can automatically net the send our margin call. The ultimate goal we have is to have for the board member and my bosses to be able to send them a kind of a dashboard in a flexible way. They will be able to see, for example, here is my main VAR, my biggest P&L contributor, what my risk is, my margin calls. So can aggregate all this data and build the dashboard the CEO or the head of trading wants to see. We're not very far. I think actually we are. The data are there today, so we can start to discuss that in-house and see how they want to how the risk cube should be. And then you could envision that as a CEO, you want to see this dashboard, but as head trader, you want to see another one, less detailed, just for you. And as maybe an accountant, you want to see more, or treasury, you want just to see your cash. And all that could be done from the cube. So now we have a project in the house to put the cube also, get some data from SAP.